What is up, party people? You know, I always start this show off by showing love to those companies that help make this podcast possible. Guys, I want to start off with my friends over at VETO, and I want to go to their special, but that I've been reading ends at the end of this month. But I just picked up one of these things today. I'm not sure if anybody has one of these, but this thing's bigger than I thought, and I absolutely love this thing. Something to keep all my vacuum stuff and the hose that I can literally just grab my vacuum pump and grab this. They have kits where you can get the hose and the valve core remover with it. I bought mine from True Tech Tools. Obviously, you can use the discount code Uncensored to save 8% on your order. But I thought this is really neat. I've tried out a lot of stuff from VETO, but I think that this is really cool. And I loved it, man. I got one, and see, I still use my tools. I go out and do stuff. Scott. But yeah, I thought this was awesome. So I wanted to bring it up. I know a lot of you probably know, but yeah, I think this one's absolutely amazing. But let's go back to the main. Don't forget their 2-tier promotion. Start at March 1st. It ends the end of this month. End of this month, May 31st. Anything that is a tier 1, it should say it in the description what tier it is. You get a free SPMC. That's going to be that bag right over here. Compact zippered service tool pouch. So, hey, I'm pretty sure it's $160 value. VETO already makes the best tool bags out there. That's not even a discussion. So if you're going to pick up something for this summer, hey, check to see if it happens to qualify for one of these tiers and get yourself your free bag. Just make sure you buy it from a reputable dealer, and you will be able to get this. So some guy at the supply house on the back of a van, he's not exactly reputable. The tier 2 is going to be buy any tier 2 products and get a free SC45, $90 value. It's going to be this little pack, more of a diagnostic, couple of things to keep on. Very, very cool bag. And once again, it is going to be free. All right. So I always tell you guys, if you're going to buy a tool bag, I get it. They're pricey, but they are built to last. These bags are going to last you a minimum of 5 years. That is a minimum. I have so many VETO bags myself. All of them still work. They're in great shape. The only thing I've ever had to do is I take a little beeswax or sometimes even chapstick if it sounds dumb, and I put it in the zippers. And I never, ever have any problems. They're all still working versus the competitions that break. They last a year. So you cannot beat it. All right. So remember, VETO Pro Pack tool bags that work. Next, let me change your socks. Camel City Mill socks, man. Telling you, I get it. Man, these things are socks and they're kind of expensive. I'm showing you the prices. I'm putting it up here. I get it that they are not the cheapest socks, but I'm telling you, these are the best work socks that I've ever wore. We always do it. Boots, boots, boots. Got to wear comfortable boots. And yes, you should. But yes, we should also be worrying about the socks that we're putting in said boots. These things, they make them in all different sizes, whether you want ankle, mid-cut, high, boot cut, whatever it is, they have them all different colors. And these things are comfortable. Your foot breathes. You're not going to come home this summer, take your foot out, and it smells like Bigfoot's asshole because you've been sweating all day. These boots are absolutely amazing. If you go down into the description, the show notes, there's going to be a discount code so you guys can save 10% on your order. And I'm telling you, it's absolutely worth it. I love these socks. They're the only socks that I wear to work. I'm not saying that you should throw out all your other socks and just wear these strictly, but buy enough for the week. Buy 5 pair, or buy a 3-pack and try them out. And I promise you'll want to get more. I love these socks. They're absolutely amazing, and I will continue to wear them. All right. Shut your mouth, rookie. With that being said, let's get on with the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States. And thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Go. Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil Cavey Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. I'm your host, Gil Cavey Jr. Here we are, finally back on a hump night, another Wednesday and another amazing show. Super excited tonight. A good friend of mine being our guest. So excited to catch up with him and just chat with him. Before we get into that, everybody in the chat, I don't know what's going on with one of the services, Restream, I use. And the sad part is I don't even really need to use it anymore. Why it's doing this multiple stream bullshit. But I noticed the chat in YouTube looks funny. Is everybody still there? Can you hear me? Can you see me before we get going and continue to have a problem? Okay. I see it now. It was acting funny. I just want to make sure. Let me get this chat back up. So I don't need to use this service anymore. So I'm just going to change my workflow so I don't have to use it. When I first started this workflow, the software eCam that I used didn't have all the capability that it has now. So anyway, what is up, everybody? Thank you guys for being here. Mr. Jason Johnson, what is up, my brother? Mr. Neil C. Vids, thank you for being here. Mr. Sam Andrew, what is up, Sammy? Mr. East Coast, what is up? What is up? Mr. Mechanical Environments, Matt, what is up, my man? I already said rookie. Mr. Rudy, just work. Hello. Let's see. Did I miss anyone? I think I got everybody. Mr. Froggy, hello. Mr. Kraus, what is up, Kraus? Let's see. Mr. Ewok, what is up? What is up? Thank you for being here, man. I think that is everybody. All right, guys, I'm going to get into this, man. You guys know who the guest is. He needs no introduction, but guess what? I'll fucking give it to him anyway. I put this in the show notes, and I mean this wholeheartedly. As somebody who's been podcasting for over a decade, I'm extremely privileged and proud of the community that I've been able to build. But I also understand the work that it takes behind the scenes to make these things happen. It's not as simple as just sitting down and showing up and just recording. That's the fun part. It's the editing and putting out this and the social media stuff. It's hard. It takes up time. And the fact that our guest today does not just one, but 2 podcasts, as well as much as he does on social media, and not to mention, he still runs a business and works in the business as a technician. Dude, my hat goes off to him because I know it's not easy and I understand the work that goes back to it. So touche to him. So without further ado, please help put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Reliable HVACR, Adrian.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? Thank you so much for being here, dog.
Thanks for that introduction. Just so anybody knows, I just don't have a life.
No, man, it is a lot, man. And I know you put in a lot of work, dude. It's amazing. So, but you know, you build a foundation, and we can get into some, topics and we, like we talked off air that I definitely want to talk about this. But
I was gonna say we can go in any direction you want to. I obviously host a couple of podcasts, so I can sit here and talk all day.
Yeah, and everybody knows I got a big fucking mouth. So I guess just real fast before we get into any kind of topic, just, what's been going on with you? I know you said work. I forgot. Let me turn on the... Sorry, guys. I got to turn the echo off. That's why you can hear the music when that's on. It sounds goofy. So I got to make sure to turn it back on. It should be fine now. Echo cancellation's back on. But what's been going on with you, man?
Not much. Is my echo gone? So is that what that was?
Yeah, it should be. I noticed when I play music in the beginning that it would go in and out and people couldn't hear it. And I found out it's because because of the echo. The echo cancellation was on. So I turned it off in the beginning and then I got to turn it back on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I turned it back on. So Adrian should be fine now.
All right, cool. Well, with me, not much, man. I run obviously a business, HVAC business here in South Texas, and it's been hot. It's been busy, and I can't complain too much because we struggled in the beginning. We've had our ups and downs. We're a small family business. We've been open almost 18 years now, so that in itself, accomplishment there. My dad started the business and totally different, from what I do. He does like the cooking equipment. So it was it's called Reliable Kitchen Services for a reason, right? He does all the kitchen work. And I came in as the HVAC guy and, like I said, ups and downs, but we've made it. And for, I don't know what's going on the past couple of years. It's just been crazy busy. So can't complain though.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. And that's, and 18 years, people got to realize, man, any business that's been open for more than 5 is a success because most close the doors. And if you've been in business for 18 years, it's not by fucking accident. That's just the truth, and that's what I tell people. So that's awesome that you guys been doing that, man. And so you do a lot of like you don't do much residential. You're more like kitchen and like refrigeration, that kind of stuff, correct?
Yeah, man. I actually have to do a residential call for a family member. That's the only time that I'll do it is for like a friend or family. Not that, I mean, it's all the same. I've always told people when they want to get into one or the other, like switch, basically, it's all the same, right? You can figure it out. If you do one, if you can do the other. I just don't want to be in attics or, Texas gets up to 120 degrees outside and you can imagine how hot those attics can get. And everything here is in an attic. I was also, funny enough, people always laugh at this, but I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to people. So when I started, you can imagine how bad I was at the customer service part. Whereas like now, I think even the podcasting, social media has kind of helped me in that department. And now I can talk to customers a lot better. So I'm just, I don't like to be in people's houses. I don't like to be around people too much. It's a thing that I have. So commercial just kind of fit the bill for me. I get to do my own thing. I get to be on the roof. The worst part of it, and I just recently did a video, kind of like a day in the life that I need to post, but I got paid my dues. I used to work more in the kitchen, the dirty kitchens. Like we would get whatever work we could. We never said no to anything in the beginning, and you take what you can get, right?
Yeah.
I've been in the kitchens that are, tight spaces and you're getting stepped on every day and, ton of work. And now we get to pick and choose. So I really love commercial, being on a rooftop, being able to figure something out and not have to worry too much about price. I mean, a lot of companies are still going to cry, but versus like what you guys deal with on residential, like a single mother or, an elderly couple or whatever it is, like, it's not always a good thing to break the news to them. They need this or that. So
yeah.
They both have their difficulties, but I just preferred commercial.
Yeah. And see, and I'm glad you said that, and as somebody like I've been fortunate enough to be in every avenue. Like I did some industrial in the beginning, commercial, refrigeration, kitchen equipment, and I loved it. And I just fell into residential, to be honest, and thrived. But that's why we have.
I will say the guys that love it and do it and are really great at it, their people skills are through the roof. So I mean that's I always
that's why I thrive.
Yeah. I always compliment those guys. I'm like, your people skills, and that's what my dad has. But that's to his benefit. That's how we got all these customers that we have. That's how we stayed in business. Was his people skills. He is everybody's best friend as soon as he meets them, and that's something that I'm trying to learn from him. Getting into my later years where I gotta kind of take over.
Yeah, sorry, moving the camera around. Yeah, and I just and that's what I want people to know. And this is a prime example that there is no right or wrong. Like even if it's just residential and it's install or service, if you rather do commercial over residential, like there is no wrong or right. Like we have all these vast openings in our industry. Like do whichever one makes you happy, man. Like there is no right or wrong answer, and that's what people need to to realize. And every single avenue needs people. All of them have shortages.
Mhm.
They need good, smart, reliable people. No pun intended, reliable. But they need people.
Hey, I never liked the name. I will say when my dad started, because I didn't start in the field, I was actually working at a grocery store, and then he had an altercation where they didn't like. Because this is the other thing, right? Like we were talking before the show about like building each other up, whether it's social media or in the HVAC field, the community.
Yeah.
I always get like here personally, I would love to start training because we just hired two people, two kids. I would love to start training up people, and I honestly, I am super comfortable where I'm at. If they want to stay, you know, if they're really good, great. If they want to just get a year experience or 2 years and then get that job that they really wanted, I would love to be that kind of stepping stone. I don't mind because I want to stay relatively small. I don't want like a huge company, and you know that's just me. I know some people are different, but because I get that complaint a lot when I you know doing the social media, they're like, "How do you get a job and how do you do this?" Because everybody wants an experienced tech. They don't want to take anybody new, so they can't get the job they want because they don't have experience. So that just made me think like I should you know probably do like some sort of apprentice program and kind of help people out that way. But yeah, man, like we've been doing this for a long time, and it's just like you said, everybody has what they like. And my dad had an opportunity to do food service because he used to be an electrician, and without that opportunity, this wouldn't have happened, right? I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing what I do because everything that happened to him kind of influenced me and where I'm at right now. So
I am.
opportunity. That's another one, right?
Yeah, that's my dad did food service, did the same thing that your dad's doing, the refrigeration, did it for a restaurant chain. That's how I got into this field. So I totally get that. And it's and everybody says these kids, you got to have 5 years experience. Okay, well, how the fuck are they supposed to get 5 years experience if nobody will hire them? But
Yeah.
I have a passion for that. Like I love training the younger kids, especially when I find one. Like I have one now where I am now where they're young and hungry. I love that because I tell them if you want to learn, I will teach you. And if I don't know, then fuck it, we'll learn it together. You know, like it's I don't know everything, but I love teaching people who want to learn. I love it.
You never know, man, because we hired one, and you could say whatever you want about him. He came from nursing. I was just as shocked as anybody else, you know, hearing that. And he's great. He's been a really great technician. Picked up both hot and hot side and refrigeration, so he's doing a little bit of both. And we just gave him a van because he's just picked it up that quickly. So he's running out running calls, doing some maintenance stuff for us. So like, you never know unless you give somebody a chance. To be honest.
Yeah, no, you have to. Um, and sometimes the best ones are ones that they're just good people and they don't know shit about this trade. You know, they only know what you've taught them. You can tell them, and especially if you do things right, like we do, you can show them the right habits and not a bunch of bad habits. And I've had a bunch of them. I've been fortunate enough to be able to teach over the years, and now to see them thrive and be like productive people in the industry doing things the right way. It's fucking awesome. I love every bit of it. So I mean, you guys are always hot. So is it like because of the weather and like the business you've built, a combination of both? I mean, I guess it's kind of a dumb question because it has to be a combination of both.
So yeah. So basically, you know, when my dad started, and honestly, when people ask me about getting into it, or you know what I do specifically, when they ask about my company and my experience, like the food service side that does really well for us all year round as well. We do a lot of fast food chains, and you can just pick up, you know, any local restaurants you have. Like it's pretty easy to get into it. It is getting a little bit harder with everybody going to a different. Like we have some that, you know, their headquarters is up north, and you got to get in with them, and this and that. Like there are some instances like that, but food service is great for us. Like that. Whenever I in the past have gotten like worried about my stuff because it gets, you know, like seasonal with the HVAC, like that food service side does not quit. So that's why any of the new guys we're getting in, I would like for them to learn both. I even want to get back into the food service side, even though I don't like it, just to know it,
Yeah.
But when my dad started, that was really good, but it was always the competition that did, at least here, back in the day, they did everything. So they did HVAC and food service. So his thing was like, I need an HVAC guy. I need someone to do the refrigeration. And that's where I came in. So, it was just built on that because he didn't want another company in the kitchen with him working side by side, trying to take his business, because then they could take the hot side. But yeah, once I got into it, I loved it. And here in Texas, it is just like a no-brainer. But where I'm at, honestly, it's like warm 90 to 95% of the year. So I'm out there running no cool calls. We don't even get nobody really has heating down here. It's just, it never gets that cold.
Open the windows.
Yeah.
That's heat.
That's exactly what I tell everybody on my show. And I'm like, when they say that it's like snowing over there or something, I'm like, oh, here it gets like 60, 50. We just open up the window.
Hey, that's it. But it's funny to see the different sides of our trade. Like we all do the same things in different geographical locations, and just seeing how different it can be. But yeah, that's funny. And I remember the kitchen equipment, like I said, changing the shells and fryers and getting that grease in your arm hair and doing that shit with my dad and working on fryers. And the fact that my dad worked for the restaurant, we had to make them work. So it wasn't, he ran the rest a whole buffet. Like he did maintenance for all of them. And well, ran the maintenance and did it himself. But so you had to get it up and running. So like you take the panels off of like these ovens and like a fucking Christmas tree. Like everything's jumped out with wire nuts because you're just trying to get it running. My dad's like, yeah, it's probably not safe, but it's okay.
Oh yeah. We've been there, and I've done that kind of work. Your uniforms, your boots, because my dad goes through boots and all that like crazy just because of the environment in the kitchen, right? So I remember just being covered in grease, getting stuck to these units. If you take the wrong, you put your elbow on one of these things and you got grease all over your arm and uniform and stuff. So it's a dirty environment. It's a dirty kind of job, but somebody has to do it, and it's very lucrative. My dad gets calls that are like now 5-6 hours out, and they're begging him to go out there for the food service, right? Because not a lot of guys can work on these fryers and stuff like that. So that's cool to see, up and coming, because I got into this in my early 20s, like 21. It's cool to see how determined he was to switch careers to food service from an electrician. He didn't know anything. He just got the opportunity and ran with it. I saw him studying and taking all these courses and trainings. All this stuff was in person back then, and he would be gone to learn this stuff. And that's how I approached when I got into it. When I got into HVAC, like I was in the books, studying after school and after work, and bettering myself. And that a lot of his work ethic is what I gravitated to, and I took that for myself.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Me too. Got it from my parents. And like I've told the story, I did this in the beginning, and it took me a little bit to realize what a gift my dad was giving me, and once I had that, and my dad, it was hard. I was calling him trying to ask for help. And then that's when he said, like, hey man, you can give me half your paycheck at the end of the week. Like, you got to figure it the fuck out. Like, if you're okay, you're healthy, all that's good, I'll talk to you later. And that's when I did. I started going home, and I was in the books and got into the YouTube, watching videos and online courses. And I still have all my books because people are like, oh, I'll buy them from you. I'm like, no, that means something to me. Like, that's part of my origin story.
Bottom shelf right here. You can't see it. I have all my original textbooks and stuff. Like, I always have them here.
Yeah, that's your origin story, man. So I keep all that. And I got sick and tired of walking up to units and not knowing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking be better than the next guy. And then you see people that, I always say it, they learn just enough to be dangerous. Like, they can do 75% of what they have to do. And that's enough for them. And I didn't want to be that way. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be somebody who did it right and was good. And in order to be that, you know how it is, man. You got to constantly be learning and evolving. Like there's no such thing. And then what hates me is people like yeah, I've been doing this for 25 years. So I would like to think that I've learned something in 25 years, but perceived time doesn't equal perceived knowledge. Because let's be honest, there's some people that have been in these trades for a long time that are fucking hacks. But then there's some guys, guys and girls been doing it a couple years and they're fucking rock stars.
Oh yeah, and Jake made a good comment on one of our recent episodes, and I think I even titled it after that. He's like, because we're talking about experience versus knowledge, and he's like, 30 years experience doesn't mean shit if you don't have the knowledge, right? If you don't continue your education, because as annoying as it is, like this stuff changes every couple of years. Like you got to learn something. So I had the benefit because, like I said, I started in my early 20s. I went to school. I learned as much as I could afterwards. There was no YouTube. There was no Instagram. There was nobody to reach out to unless you knew somebody locally, which luckily I did know a couple of guys. And even then, everybody thinks of you as a competition, so you don't get that much help. But yeah, you gotta keep learning, because I would go behind guys, older guys, and I'd be the kid, and they would look at me funny, and then I would fix something that they couldn't. Or my dad would say, we need to get this going. It might take me all day, but I'll figure it out. That was kind of the way we got a lot of our work. And man, I worked on a lot of old equipment, and like you said, you got to get it to work. The customer, at least back then, we weren't about selling. We had to get it going.
Yeah, because if you can't, they can't have something down. Like sometimes it happens, but if you can't, somebody else will. They're just.
Oh yeah, that's always that's my mentality, and I tell people, because it's harder now because everybody wants to sell. Everybody, this and that. I'm like, I can't always say no, because they're just gonna call somebody else. I mean, that's especially here. Businesses pop up like crazy here. Now, do they all make it? Not really. I do pay attention to who stays open and stuff, but there's always going to be somebody cheaper, somebody that can, do it quicker. And I've had to learn over the years, like which calls to take, which ones to turn down, and where to draw the line. Cause like there were certain times, and there were lessons learned where I tried to do too much and it just bit me in the ass, right? Like trying to fix something too much, and then it just looks bad.
Yeah. I think we all get those situations where, especially in the beginning of business, where, like you said, you got to take everything. You're trying to stay busy, but then you learn that you got to fire some customers. You know what to say yes to, what to say no to. Like just as you evolve as a technician, you evolve in running a business and know what you should do and be like, hey, I would love to do this, but I can't. Or, hey, I've done everything I can do on this oven or this whatever, or this walk-in. You know what I mean? Like we're at this point. What do you want to do? You know what I mean? So.
And I think I've mentioned it before. Like when you start as a technician, you start at the bottom, right? Like everybody always wants the best pay and this and that, but you start at the bottom. There's no way around it. When you start a business, you get knocked back down to the bottom and start up again, right? You're a nobody at that point. So we've been through it. And, there's plenty of customers that I'm glad we don't do work for anymore, because back then we just said yes to everything. We had these restaurants, very well-known nation chains, and the owner was like a multi-millionaire, fought every invoice. That's the kind of stuff I don't miss.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's one thing I don't miss, that kind of stuff. Or going to doing like the commercial side and going to like a mall. And one of the big like clothing stores to do like they call you because something's not working, and the manager's mad because now they're not going to get a bonus because there's a maintenance expense. And
yes,
it's like, bitch, you called me. I didn't just show up. Like, why are you like, you're being ignorant to me, and I didn't, like, you called us for me to come out. Like, what's the problem?
See, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm used to it. I don't like it either, but we still have that too, where it affects their pay basically, right? If they, as far as like the repairs that they call in and all that. So there's some that won't call us for anything, like at certain times, certain months, right? Because they want that bonus or whatever they get. And and that's usually upper management, like the store manager or the people working under them are pissed, and you got to deal with that because they want it fixed, but whoever has like the say in that wouldn't. So that's another thing I had to learn is obviously customer service. Like you can't talk back, you can't get pissed, you can't do any of that. And my dad holds back a lot because and I used to get that. I used to be like that. I get that from my dad and my grandpa. They're always ready to fight, but you got to learn to bite your tongue and know how to talk to a customer. That's something that took me a while to learn. And you're always going to have an upset customer. You're always going to have something, and you just that's part of being a technician as well. People don't understand that because I can turn wrenches, and I was very confident in that aspect of my career. I was so confident that I could fix anything that anything that was out there. But could I handle a customer? No, that took time.
Yeah. See, I've been lucky, and my parents my dad's not here anymore, but my mom always says, she's like, I'm not sure where you got that from, but it's always been something natural, which, I love building relationships and talking to people. So it's always just been natural. So I thank God that I use it for a good reason. Cause to be honest, when I was younger, I think I didn't use it for a good, my mom always said, why'd you do that? Like, why'd you follow those people? And I was like, I don't follow anybody, Mom. Like I was leading them to do this bad thing. And you realize like, hey, if God gave me this gift, like maybe I should try to use it for something good. So still working on that, but I think I'm better than I was. But if you don't mind, I want to switch a little bit because I do want to get into the social media side and like how much stuff that you've done, like we talked about, man, and to continue the conversation that we talked about off air is, and I guess I'll get your opinion. Like I told you, like when I was coming up to do this back when there wasn't that many podcasts, like there was a handful of us.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, and I won't say names on the show, even though I said them to you off air, like they would say that they wanted to help you and they wanted to see you succeed, but they didn't really. And I think that's silly because I have helped several, like I can't even count how many people I've helped start their podcast, answer their questions. And I want to see all my friends succeed. Like I was telling you, I wish that I could watch all of your shows, but it's hard because we all have other things going on and doing stuff in the background. And, if I help somebody, like I remember talking to Chris Stevens before he started his YouTube channel, asking me questions.
Oh, yeah.
Chris blew it away. You know what I mean? He's one of my good friends. I'm extremely happy for him. I'm happy for everybody. Like, it's not like, oh, you're my friend, but you can't do better than me. Like, that's just fucking stupid,
Yeah. And, I've been there too. I know I do quite a bit, and it's just, I guess it's like a full circle thing. I used to be into technology a lot. I used to do a lot. Like I've always been into tech and, fixing things. And that's funny enough what I do now. One job is fixing things and another job is, all this editing and recording and stuff. But I think I do all right. And I've had a lot of guys, a lot of kids that come up to me and or message me or whatever it is. And they got questions, and I'm trying to make it more of a thing. I've had group chats. I've had, I've reached out to people if I see that they might be getting taken advantage of, because these companies that we all work with and all that they pay for that kind of stuff, right? The content and all that.
Yeah.
I've just tried to make it more aware, or people aware of that. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get rich on it. I'm not saying it's guaranteed money or anything like that, but like, just know that there's something there. Some people do make a living off of it. And I've always been one to help. So if anybody, and a lot of people know that already, if they come up to me with a question, I kind of get invested. I want to help, these guys, whether it's podcasting or YouTube or any of the social medias. I'm not saying I have the, get rich overnight solution, but I think I've done okay for myself.
Yeah, of course, man. And I've been the same way. And that's why, like, I've always helped people when it comes to, like the sponsorships. And it's about like, I want to make sure that you guys are getting paid because I've been doing this for a long time and I understand how it was. And I know that these companies will pay, and don't count yourself short. it's a lot easier to ask for more and go down than it is to start low and think you're ever going to go up. I mean, back in the day, these companies used to pay $8,000 for print ads that people were never going to read or read once and throw it away. And we provide digital content, whether it's audio, video, whatever, that's going to be there forever.
Yeah, I was going to say it's there forever, because I cannot tell you how many times I've seen one of my videos ran as a commercial or an ad, those sponsored ads and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, that's me. So they will use your stuff. So just make sure you get, compensated for it, or you give permission. I will take it up with them if I see myself as an ad and I didn't give them permission. So I take it very seriously. I've always thought of social media as a business. I guess just, being a business owner. Once I started this, I was like, I just want to have things in place in case something happens. That's always like my thing, is like, I want to have something in place or be prepared. And that's the way I've always approached anything that I do. And I honestly experiment a lot. So that's how the podcast ended up, coming. I didn't expect to be a podcaster, honestly, but that just came out of nowhere because people were interacting with, when I did live streams and Q&As and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, this could be something. So kind of prepared and grew it from there.
Yeah. And it's consistent, and you're consistent. And that's one of the things that grows is consistency. People know that you're going to be somewhere at a certain time. And it's fun, man. It's the community of people. And that's what I love, that there's, a lot of us have a lot of the same people in the chats, give or take some different people. And the fact that we're friends and we can be in each other's chats. Like, I just think that it's cool. And that kind of stuff drives our trade in the right direction. That's what I love about it. Like, we talk about like AHR, like I love AHR. The whole scene is fun, but I love to see my friends. I love to hang out with everybody and, do things. Yeah. It's cool to some of us, we go there and we got to work because, this is a business and we have responsibilities we have to take care of. But I love to meet everybody and then meet new people or people that listen to you. Like, oh my God, they come up to you like you're a celebrity. It's like, whoa. I appreciate that, man. I'm flattered, but we're just all the same. But it's just it's awesome, and that's what I love about it, the relationships that we build.
I like Nasty's comment there. This is a weird episode of the Knights. You should have just had all of us on here.
Yeah, I know. I was joking when I've had each individual. I said, well, if I have all three of you on at one, then really it's just the Knights with me on my channel. So,
hey, Pat gave into it because he did his episode with us, and he's like, the Knights are going to take over my show. It is what it is.
Well, hey,
I think he titled it that.
Man. You guys got to have me back on. What the hell,
Yeah, we don't see that. That's the whole thing, and I get the guys' feedback on that podcast, the HVAC Knights, and I tell them it's as much their show as it is mine. I just kind of put it together. They're really, the ones that I want to hear from more, because I already have my podcast. People don't want to hear me talk more. We got Curtis that gives us great life experiences because he's had so many jobs. He's done HVAC for a long time now, so he always has cool stories. And then Jake is always joking around, making things interesting, and he does have a lot of good experience too. So there's always something I learned from each one of them, and I just kind of put it together and kind of put it out there for us, because we were talking before that show, and I'm like, this could be just its own thing, like us just chopping it up, right? So that's kind of how that came about. But they wanted it to be more like exclusive. So like we do the guest thing, but it's very like rare. We want to keep it, you got to be
a good idea. It's actually a good idea.
Yeah, you got to be important.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I made it. So, but that's a good idea, because the fact there is three of you, and sometimes I've seen that when you have too many people, it's hard to talking over people,
So it's perfect the way it is right now. And I'll be honest with you, I had this in mind for a while with 4 hosts, and I couldn't see that now. I can't see, adding another guy. And they were not even the first people that I was going to talk to this about. Like, this came about naturally, and we kind of just, got into it because me and Jake were talking because he had started his channel. He had got into the VETO videos like I was doing. And then we kind of started talking from there. And it's weird, two completely opposite people, but we have a lot in common. Right. And I didn't know until we started chatting a lot. And then we were talking about this show, and I was like, I ditched the original list that I had. It was supposed to be like with some guys that don't even post anymore. So that didn't work out. And I was talking to Kraus, and I'm like, I got one other guy in mind, but I don't think he'll do it. And Curtis just said yes immediately. We got along, we vibed, and it's been awesome to see that one grow. I'm more excited for that one just because it's just me hanging out with my friends, right? Every Thursday night. That's kind of what we look forward to for the week. And it's really cool that people like it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, dude. I love it. And I've known Jake for a while, so I was awesome to see him on there and, to really get to finally meet Curtis in person. And obviously I've known you. I actually talked to Curtis not long ago. I just like randomly called him to talk to him about something and answered the phone, and we sat there and BS for a little bit. So that was cool. And to be honest, man, like when I see stuff like that, it makes me miss having a host, having a co-host. But I think now with this, HVAC Uncensored is going to stay what it is. I've done the host thing. I'm not going to go down that road again. Plus I always worry about if I was to bring somebody in, like, how do you even work the financial side? Cause I've spent 10 years building this up, so how do I make it fair? But I do think about doing something else. I know it's more of a commitment, but I do like that where it's multiple people just BSing and not having guests. Even this, I kind of like just me sometimes. Like, I don't even like having, like, I'm getting more to where I don't even want guests. Some of the shows do the best where it's just me bullshitting.
Yeah. And, I'll keep doing my podcast as long as it's, people want it, I guess, because it does really good on the audio. So I'm happy about that. And I get messages all the time. That's kind of why I keep doing these things that I do. And I haven't dropped anything, right? Like I had thought about taking a break from the podcast, my reliable one. And I keep every time, and it's funny how that works. Every time I want to take a break or just stop, I get random messages. Hey, this episode was super motivational. It got me to open up my own business, or it got me to get into the field, or, there's so many that come through, and they always come at the right time. And that's really good to hear some feedback as to why to keep doing it, right? Like, it doesn't matter if, like I've always said, it doesn't matter if you have 10 subscribers or, 50,000, 100,000. If it affects somebody, I mean, it's worth it doing. Whether, like I said, all this is like a hobby. Eventually you do get paid if you work at it, but it doesn't come overnight. I've put things in place to try to get that monetized. And then, it finally did last year, and I'm grateful for it. I'll keep doing it as long as people enjoy it. And like you said, like you have to kind of evaluate your audience and what you can do. Cause I've just talked to somebody, I think today, about, them getting sponsors and stuff. I got like this year, I'm trying to do as much as I can just to see what happens. And then I'll evaluate at the end of the year, like how much I can like stick to. Cause right now I got like 4 YouTube channels I run. I do all the social media stuff. I do HVAC nights. It's it's fun, but it's a lot.
Yeah. I can only imagine me just doing my stuff. And I really feel like I have so many avenues where I'm only scratching the surface that I haven't even really been to excel on them because I haven't been able to put the time into it. It's hard. But yeah, this stuff is a lot of work. But I agree, man. The emails that I like, that keeps me like, this is like therapy for me every week. Like, I love doing this.
I famously call HVAC nights our weekly therapy session.
Yeah, it's fun. And even if I didn't have downloads and that many people didn't listen, the people in the chat would be enough to keep going. But I agree. As long as people want to listen to me talk, I'm going to keep going. But those emails that I get are the most rewarding. And if, God forbid, all the money stopped that this podcast makes, and all I got was those emails, I would still do it 100%. Because those emails are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that was me in the beginning. Like I didn't get paid for a good while, and I don't know if people realize like you don't, because you get those comments, right? Like sell out, you sold out, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I'm like, I've worked so long without, a whole bunch of views or getting monetized or any of that. And once you do finally get some money, some people don't like it, but that's the reality of it is like, this is another job, right? It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much
what they're talking about. Those people.
I was going to say, I have no, you have no idea how much money I've put into this, right? Because now that I get a kickback, okay, I can invest in a better camera, a better mic, a better computer, stuff like that. And I'm one that I'm real picky with how my stuff looks and sounds and all that, right? I want it to be professional, even if only one person watches. It's going to be the best show that one person watches, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I've been just like I was a tool whore. I got the same way when it came to the podcast and gear. I mean, I probably got 40 grand down here and don't use all of it. I've actually started selling things off.
I see Jake in the chat, and we talk all the time about like cameras and what we're gonna get and this and that. And he has me wanting like a drone right now.
Oh yeah,
he has all these cool shots in his videos now.
Yeah, I have a drone. It's the DJI. Was it Mini 4 Pro?
I think that's the one I was looking at.
Yeah, well, that's at least here, because especially where I live now, I live close to Andrews Air Force Base, and that's the one that's small enough that you don't have to have like a fucking like operator's license to fly it, because it's under 250 grams, and it does everything that you could possibly want to do, unless you're like a professional, like,
I saw a blogger ask about behind the scenes, like, what do you want to see, blogger? I do have a day in the life. I've been trying to post more and just kind of show more of like what I actually do, because as a business owner, I'm not in the field, all day. I have to go out, go to the office. I have to take care of customers here and there. I have kids. So I know we were talking about this earlier, like, working hard, hustling, all that. The end goal for me was always like, obviously make enough to be comfortable. I'm not super rich or anything like that. Like, you can be if you want to, but my end goal and what I see, what's worth more is being home for dinner, being with my kids, right? I try not to book anything on the weekend unless it's like early in the morning. If I got to record a podcast or whatever, then I have the rest of the day. We barbecue every week. That's kind of our tradition here. The kids love it. We're outside all evening. So that's always been my end goal, is like the family time. So I paid my dues in the beginning. I worked hard. I did all that. And now I'm trying to be more present. So like I did it, like I said, I did a video trying to show, or I'm trying to post more to show more of my day to day. And that one of the times I recorded, I happened to have to go to my daughter's, what do you call it? Like eat with your parent day or whatever. Like you get to go and eat lunch at the school.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not missing that. Right. I'm going to go to that. And then, the next day, my son had go to work with your parent day or whatever it's called. And I was like, I'm game for that. Right. I made a day for him to come out and work with us. And that's the stuff that I look forward to more than, getting all those hours, overtime hours or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like you, man. I put in my time, and now it's about like, yeah, making money's great, but now it's about getting my time. And I always say, if you look at any rich person, a lot of times what they're trying to do is they're trying to make enough money to buy back time. And, that's the truth. And now it's like, I do what I do because of my 4 children. Like, my mom, spending the years that I have left with her, and that's what it is for me. So now, like when I'm home, and that's why some things I don't, because people will see when I come home, I sit my fucking phone down. I used to be like sitting there playing on it, and that was my fault. Yeah. And now and that's just an addiction. If you do drugs or alcohol, is staying on this fucking thing. So now when I come home, I sit the damn thing down on the table, and I have my Apple Watch. If God forbid one of my techs calls me and needs me, I can get to my phone, but I can swipe through the bullshit where I'm not just sitting there watching YouTube doing dumb stuff. I've had to like cut that off, and I'm doing like so much more stuff with my daughters. I've seen like, not that we ever had a bad relationship, you know what I mean? But I've seen it like prosper and seen it grow and seen more things happen. And it's awesome. I love it, especially going through a divorce, man. Like I need to be there for them right now. Like, you know what I mean? Especially my 9 and 7-year-old. The boys are a little bit different, but the girls, like, they need their father right now.
No, that's awesome to hear, man. Been there, done that. I've been through a divorce. I don't have, my son doesn't live with me, so I even get out at 3:30 every day just to go pick him up. That way I can, I take him home, but we have that car ride together. We talk, and I'm sorry, I'm just not giving that up. Like, I'm gonna get out at 3:30 every day unless there's a emergency call or a long day, a project or something like that where I can have something, in advance, to somebody to pick them up. I'm not giving that up. I feel like I've earned it at this point. I've worked so many hours in the past, and I always tell people, I know one man right now was like taking advantage. He wants to take advantage when he's young. That's one of my things when I tell people, like, take advantage when you don't have kids, when you're not married, when you have that time, because I feel like I did that. I took advantage. Now, I didn't take it seriously enough. That's one regret of mine, is like, I just wanted to get out and, go out with my friends or, do dumb stuff. But, I feel like I've paid my dues. You worked. I do refrigeration, and a lot of guys know we work at night, we work overnight, things like that. And now I just refuse to give up that time. So I get out every day, I pick them up, and even if I have to go back into work after I pick them up, I'm doing that. That's just my choice.
Yeah. Well, good for you, man. And that's the way it should be. And I wish that I could go back and change some things that I did, but I did that hustling, waking up before my kids, coming home when they're already asleep. And I did that for years, missing baseball games and all this other stuff. And it is what it is. I can't take it back. I was able to provide, and you live and you learn. But that's why I think that's what makes me like the owner and boss that I am now. Is I want them. I'm like, hey, if your daughter's got a recital or your kid's got a ball game, I want you to fucking be there. Tell me, obviously, don't tell me the day of. Give me notice. We'll work around it. Like, we'll figure it out. I want you to be there for those things. And that kind of impact, your people are like, man, like, my boss like gives a shit. Like, he actually cares that I go to these things. Like, I get it. We got to make money. Like, I understand that. But, I want people to be at those kind of things. And I think that actually happens today. Because when I first got into the trade, nobody was talking about fucking culture. Nobody gave a shit about that.
No.
You did what you were asked. If you didn't, they're like, I'll find somebody, another body who'll do it. So, I think we have evolved. I don't think we've evolved enough, but we have evolved for sure.
No, and my dad is like that, and that's something I've seen firsthand. Right? I mean, we have older techs that them or their wife, might need to go to the doctor so often. Right? They got conditions or whatever. Take the day off, take half a day off, whatever you need. Go with your wife. Accompany them. Right? And if their kids have something, one of our techs has which I think he just graduated, so he's going to be working with us during the summer. But he has a grandkid that he would always, go to their events or anything like that. And my dad allows it because it's important. Like, what are you going to do, right? Like, you can't be that dick boss, right, all the time. You gotta. And I've learned it too, because I used to be like basically the supervisor. I try to now be more of a technician, or I did for a while, but I would see guys get burnt out, and I didn't like it. So
yeah.
Take the time off you need. Our guys used to volunteer, and they still kind of do if they want the overtime. Honestly, I don't want to do it. So if somebody else wants to do it, great. But if I start seeing it affect them, then we step in, obviously, and then we give them the time off that they need, because burnout, like you said, you got to make money, but if somebody's burnt out, they're going to cost you money. They're going to get callbacks. They're going to do mistakes left and right. I've seen it too many times where that's something that we do look at now. We don't let them get burnt out.
Yeah, well, and plus, I always say, how can you expect a person, a technician, to value your time if you don't value theirs? It's got to be a 50-50 relationship, And like, I want to know their why, because we all have one. We all love this, but we don't do it for free. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's got to be a compromise for everybody. And that's how you get those people that will last with you forever, because they know that you give a shit and you care. So yeah. It's, yeah, I love
Jason made a comment. Jason made a comment that I'm still young. We were at we went to this hotel and we were doing like a walkthrough, right? They needed like a quote to fix like basically everything. And I was laughing and I told my dad, this looks like a field trip, because all of the guys ended up showing up, even the two new guys. And my son was there. That was the day that he came with us. So it was a big group of guys just walking around because we all met up there. And I saw our older tech, our senior tech, showing them around and that guy is so valuable because not only does he do the hot food and the refrigeration pretty well, he also does all commercial like washers and dryers and things that the hotels have. So that is hard to find here, and he's doing really great getting us more work in that, space. So I saw him training the young guys, right? And I'm like, this is what we need. We need the older guys to step back, right? And I'm including myself in that because I've been doing this 18 years. So it's like, our senior tech, my dad, and myself, we need to transition to like trainers, basically. Like we need the young guys to do all this, learn all this stuff.
Yeah. Like what they say in sports is, a lot of times it was always hard when you're the best tech that the boss doesn't want to take you out of the field because they're losing their best tech, their most valuable tech. You got to become a force multiplier. What that means is now you come in and you can train other people to do what you do. And that's where I got good at. And I was able to excel in management. I didn't know that I was good at it. And to be honest, I don't think I was good at it in the beginning, but I started to learn. And that's what you have to be. Become a force multiplier, back up and help other people, train them to do what you did. And nobody's going to bat 1,000. But that's how I think you're able to build a company. And that's why I've done so good and haven't had necessarily recruiting problems, because I've been able to take just young kids that are good, like good people, like they have good families, good morals, good values, and teach them to trade versus trying to find these people that have a bunch of bad habits and come in demanding like, a laundry list of stuff. Like, I need a brand new van, $80 an hour, 17 weeks vacation. It's like, yeah, dude, get the fuck out of my office. Like, go away.
I was fully expecting us to hire a couple of guys that were experienced, and they were like, yeah, we're ready, to go over and this and that. And I didn't know them, but I think it was my dad or my uncle that knew them and vouched for them. But yeah, they wanted the whole kitchen sink. And I'm like, we can't, like, as a small business, they didn't make any sense. Right. So we pivoted to hiring young guys, and obviously there's a lot of potential for them to earn, what they want to earn eventually. So, I like that route too, because those guys, the new guys, don't have the bad habits already. That's my main thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And they only learn the way that you want them to learn. So they suit your business because they learn your way, the company way. And, it makes it. Jason, fuck you offering that. Shit, I do Resi again for that, Gil. Come see me, brother. Yeah, man. I just I don't know. I love the work, but I like to impact people. And I know it sounds corny, but I do. I like to build relationships. And I've always been more of a giver than a taker. And even the young guys that don't work for you anymore, like when I was at Beltway, like just seeing them on social media and seeing them get married and buy a house and see them thrive and know where they were when I first met them and what they're able to do now. it's fucking awesome, man. Like just knowing that I had a small part in what these young men now are today. It's fucking rewarding. It really is, and I love that, and I want to continue to do it. To be honest, if I could train all day and be able to get my hands dirty and stuff like that, and not do the business side, I'd be all for it. That job hasn't presented itself, so but I that would be a fucking dream job. So I love that part of it.
I think I grew up a little too around old school. I'd rather do the work. That's my biggest problem is I'm like, let me do it. Like I want it done, my way.
Yeah. I'm like that in the field though. When I do ride-alongs, rather than watch, I just do it, and hopefully they watch learning. But but that's a cool thing when I'm in the classroom setting, and where I am now, our training room is like, we haven't even have it set up, but it's fucking badass. It's got like these glass doors where people can see in. Like it's sweet. Like I'll show videos once it's all done, and an iPad where I can throw. I mean, a Apple TV up there, so I can throw things up from the iPad. Like it's sweet. Live equipment in the other side, so that I can still go out and still get my hands dirty and get my fix as a technician, but I'm not like an everyday technician. Because I was joking with Scott, talking to him on the phone, and I was like, when I came to the new place I am now, Carroll Mechanical, as the GM, and I went out in the field because I wanted to earn the respect of the technicians, like, and show them that I know what I'm talking about, and work all these hours. And it kicked my fucking ass. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Jesus, man, this I haven't done this in a while. Not that I can't do the work, but I was like, whew, I get home and fucking.
I guess that's my biggest fear. Like I'm getting older. I'm feeling it, but I can still do it because I do it every day. But I see Chris that he's the same. He'd rather do the work, and he works more than his guys. But the benefit right now is we turned. I've been joking around that we turned into like a maintenance company. I've just been like having these conversations with the managers and places that we go to, and we just pick up maintenance contracts left and right just by talking to them, explaining how these things happen. And the good thing is I can throw them on maintenance for the most part, to learn. I think that's a good way to learn too. See how stuff works. They're just there to clean it. There's no emergency. So trying to get more of those, up so that they can have more maintenance to do. And I still prefer to do all the tough calls. I still get all the tough calls. I'm still there at every install. Obviously we're a small company. It's not that hard to do, but yeah, I even the installs, I think I do like 80 to 90% of the work.
Yeah.
Like on commercial walk-ins and stuff.
Yeah. See, Chris said, my dream is to get a manager and run a company. I want to be in charge of training, and I don't want to deal with the business crap. See, that's kind of where I am. Like, I like doing the training, the technical stuff, but if I don't got to deal with the numbers, that's what's good. Hey, man, I'm not moving to California. I was going to say, I'll come be your GM, Chris, but yeah, I can't. California's fun to visit. I'm not trying to live there. Sorry. But yeah, that's no fun. Although refrigeration, I haven't done in forever. So,
that's my preference.
Yeah, I love it. But I'm dad. It reminds me of working with my dad. And that's what I thought I would be doing, to be honest. I mean, I never thought back then, like I said, I don't know how I ended up in residential, and I guess it worked out for a reason because I'm where I am now. But I did love the refrigeration side though.
Yeah, it's funny because I work with my dad. I work with my brother as well. They cannot work together. If I leave them alone on a job site, they're going to go at each other's throat. They don't get along like that. I get along with each one of them, so I can work, with whoever. And I have the benefit of that, right? I see my dad every week. I see my brother often. And it's cool to work with them. I get along with them. I know some people don't, but I enjoy that time too. And we used to work obviously together every day when we started. And now we just try to meet up for certain jobs or like meet up for lunch when we can. And I'll try and take advantage of it and all that. But it's funny though, but because he's my boss technically, and he does most of the dispatching, I get so upset when I see my phone ringing and I see that it's my dad, because more than likely it is a call that came in like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I get a little bit of like, I get a little nervous when I see his name on the caller ID.
Yeah. I wish I could go back. Me and my dad always talked about starting their own thing, and it always ended up just being talk. But that's one thing that if I could go back and do over, I wish me and my dad would have done our own thing. I really do. My dad's the one that pushed me to finally get my master's license, and I was like, well, I'm not going to start my own company. And he's like, you don't know, just do it, get it anyway. And it's because of him that I did that. And now I have several. I mean, I could work in any of the surrounding states. So legally, I mean, a lot of people do, but I mean, like technically. So,
Yeah.
um, but damn, dude, we're close to an hour. I knew this was going to go, man, that we have a good conversation, man. And I gotta get with the kids. But Adrian, dude, thank you for coming on, bro. I'm glad that me and you have gotten to meet in person and become friends. And I have nothing but love and respect for you, brother, for what you're doing and putting in all that work. Like I said, and I say that seriously because I know that it's a lot, and I know that you really give a shit. You can tell by talking to you and the way that you do things, And let's just be honest. We know there's some people that do this for clout. That's why they do it. They don't do it for actually like the help and the community, and because they love what they're doing. And you can tell that you're sincere and genuine in how you do it, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for having me on. And, I just try to do what I can. I enjoy what I do. It's a lot, but like I said, those messages, the interactions with other people, that also makes it great.
Yeah, for sure, my man. All right, buddy. Well, I'm gonna close this out, man. Where if if God forbid somebody listens to this and doesn't follow you or doesn't know, how to get to you, please let them know how they can.
They can find me on any platform. I don't know how to keep up with all of them, but like any platform, Reliable HVACR. I also host Reliable Trades podcast and the HVAC Nights podcast.
Nice. And what I'll do is anybody that's listening to this audio, it's not in the show notes right now, but when the audio goes out, right in the top of the show notes, you'll see links. I'll have links to be able to get to all Adrian stuff to be able to go check it out. And I highly suggest that you do. He puts all kind of content out, whether it's audio podcast like I do, video podcast, and also on Instagram, doing all those, like he said, behind the scene videos and all that kind of stuff. So highly suggest that you go check those out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course, buddy. Have a good night, man. I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and close this thing out, my man.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody, man. We had a nice, hefty chat. I want to thank everybody for being in here. I saw a lot of people come in. My man, Chris, Mr. HVACR Videos is in here. The king himself. It was funny, Chris. We were talking before and talking about people starting. And I said, I remember having a conversation with you in the beginning when you were talking about starting your channel. And now to see where you are now is absolutely fucking amazing, dude. It's, it's awesome to see your friends grow and succeed and all this stuff, man. I love it. And I love to see my friends succeed. And I love the community that has been built with a bunch of friends. We're a bunch of friends who just love seeing each other do, we love what we do, and you see like it giving back and actually impacting the community. It's fucking awesome. So I love being a part of it. And there's so many people in this chat right now that are really good friends of mine that, this trade has brought me these friendships, which I, are grateful to me. I hold near and dear to my heart. So with that being said, man, it's time to close this out. Make sure you please go follow Adrian. So Reliable HVACR on any podcast that you look, you're going to be able to find. I mean, any social media site you go, you're going to find him. Reliable Trades podcast. Check that out. You can get that wherever you get your podcast. Also, the HVAC Nights with him, Mr. Kraus and Mr. Curtis. They do an awesome show. I think it's actually tomorrow night they do that. So go check that out. All amazing stuff. Like I always say, man, there's enough good content that you can watch videos and podcasts every single night and be able to get good content. And most of them are all friends of mine. So go support them and show them the same love that you guys have showed me, which I am, extremely grateful for. All right. Make sure you follow the podcast on all the social media sites to stay up to date on everything that is happening. All right. That being said, guys, keep your head on a swivel, man. Everybody be out there. We live in a crazy fucking world right now. We really do. Whether it's driving, whatever it is, man, make sure the breaker's turned off. Please be careful. All right. We're already in a shortage. I don't want to hear that anything happened to any of you. So please be careful out there. I want you to make it home the same way that you left. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. All right. Try to be the best at what you do. Master your craft. All right. Don't be one of those people that does just enough to get by. All right. Be the best version of you. Try to be the best. Try to learn. Try to understand the why behind the what. Don't be that person that handicaps yourself because I can get by. I can do 80% of the calls. You know what I mean? Like, be really good at what you do. All right. Set yourself apart. Don't be one of those fucking shitbags that goes around and not that I'm calling you guys shitbags, but you know what I mean? Like those people that they don't really try. They just get things done. And if they can't, I'll find somebody else who can. All right. Keep doing it. And then give back to people, man. Like, give back to this industry. You know more than somebody else. Try to help somebody else. Give back. Help teach them. Help train them. Help get somebody else excited about what we do. This is an amazing trade. You can make good money, a good living, and you can really, really impact people's lives no matter what you're in, whether you're doing residential, commercial, industrial, refrigeration, kitchen equipment. It doesn't matter. It's an amazing trade. And I love being a part of the blue collar trades. It's pumping through my veins, and I wouldn't be anywhere else. All right. With that being said, man, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for the support. And I'll talk at you on Mofos next week. All right. See you.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
Huge shout out to all of my moderators. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe. And until next time.